Let's kickstart this year with spotlight on all the fascinating independent games out there. January is always a quiet time before the end of the holiday season and just before the gaming season opens up again in February. There we see big games released right up to March, making this the perfect time to pick out your favorite console or PC and spend some time in indie games, usually made by smaller studios or just a bunch of people, sometimes the work of just one person. Independent or indie games are not afraid to break new ground in gaming. In fact, large success with PUBG stem from indie roots, and there is where most of the innovation is happening. From telling deeply personal stories to tackling psychological issues to experimenting with new gameplay paradigms, indie games generally push the envelope in ways large AAA games from where massive game studios can't. Here's a bunch of the latest and the best in indie games. Gris. Every time someone utters the words, games are not art, show them a copy of Gris in their smug faces. With a hand-drawn, inked artistic, Gris is one of the most beautiful games out there. Tackling themes for fear and how it paralyzes you, Gris features a young girl who is unable to call out for help. Stuck in a crumbling world, a side-scrolling adventure game will grasp you from the get-go in the arms of its visuals, the fluidity with which it moves, as well as the simplistic gameplay elements. The game will surely fascinate you at times and also scare you at some points. But guess what? Its art style will take your breath away. Celeste, bagging Best in the Games at the Game Awards 2018. Celeste at its core is a Mario-esque platformer with a princess to be rescued. You play a girl, Netherline, who wrestles internally with her anxiety and depression. All she wants to do is to scale this mountain called Celeste, and she is determined to achieve this despite of her mental health issues. An important piece of storytelling shuddered in a simple game that's a lot of fun to play. All done in cute retro spirits with very 80s era colors to bring it into life. Deadcells. Quite frankly, Deadcells is a lot more fun to play than any of the games that came out the past year. Taking inspiration from Meteorite and Castlevania as a side-scrolling action while taking the difficulty of a Dark Souls game and procedurally generated mayhem of a roguelike game. With a satisfying fast-paced action system, a beautiful pixel like realm and a never-ending ducken, you unlock more and more weapons and try taking on the dragon again and again as it changes subtly with each play though. Donut Count. There's no game holier than Donut County. Fun indeed, as this zany game has you playing a reckon that's playing a game which creates a moving hole. Most sole purpose is to drop things into it. The more you drop, the bigger the hole gets, until it's a Godzilla of hole sucking up the entire buildings. A puzzle game that's simple to grasp. It's hilarious watching all sorts of those cute creatures just looking surprised as they are falling. Plus, there's a lot of jokes in there too, as Donut County will have you grinning throughout your play. Frostpunk. This War of Mine was a grim game that showed us the horrors of war from the perspective of civilians affected. Now, from the same studio comes an equally grim game called Frostpunk, caused by a volcanic winter in the wake of dual eruptions that blotted out the sun. You play a group of survivors tasked with setting up a city, creating warmth while the temperatures are constantly dropping, where you have to make those terrible decisions in order to keep your little slice of life afloat, to scavenge and build against the elements as well as our human natures. A bleak game and an excellent city builder as well. Into the Beach, a game from another legend of the indie gaming circuit. Subset Games, the makers of FTL, Faster Than Light. Into the Beach is deceptively simple. channeling XCOM on an 8x8 grid that leads you to take part in giant robot battles against a Vec, a powerful alien threat. As you send mechs through time while adapting continuously to counter each threat. So, a loss just means change in strategy. Like faster than light, into the beach will be a reason you will have many a sleepless night. Don't let those old graphics fool you. This game is incredible where it counts. If you like the medieval shows like Game of Thrones, or you fantasize on the prospect of being a knight in one of those Arthurian legends, then the Kingdom Come-Deliverance is for you. An action role-playing game set in the medieval kingdom of Bohemia, an imperial state of the Holy Roman Empire. Deliverance promises to be historically accurate. If that doesn't impress, then the game's incredible physics-based fighting system gives you some incredibly realistic action with swords, both in the way your enemies react to the sword strike and also the way they take damage. Deliverance looks incredible too, with slick production values. The Written of the Obra Dinn. Papers, Please, one of the most unique indie games in the recent history that has you playing an immigration officer, and it was fun. Now, Lucas Pope has done it again with Written of the Obra Dinn, a game that has you solve a mystery aboard an East India Company ship to piece together what happened to its 16-member crew. It is a meticulously constructed puzzle that you need all your powers of deduction and logic to be able to solve. Armed with a few mystical tricks up your sleeve, it's up to you to solve this mystery